Welcome back to the Echoes of Ihsan podcast, where we kind of roll up our sleeves and really dive deep into these Islamic texts
Yep.
and try to unearth, some of these timeless pearls of wisdom.
Mm.
And today,
Yeah.
I thought we'd set our sights on Sunan An-Nasa'i Volume 3,
Okay.
a collection of hadith meticulously compiled by Imam An-Nasa'i.
Right.
It's really an incredible resource. It's like holding a mirror, reflecting the Prophet Muhammad's life,
Yeah.
his practice, his teachings.
It is.
And it really is. I mean, it's a guide, I think, for navigating this whole, complexities of life and death, faith and practice, individual responsibility, and social justice.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's incredible how this volume covers such a range of topics,
Yeah.
that are so central to the Muslim experience.
Yeah, and one of the things that I was just so struck by was just the detailed instruction on funeral rites.
Mm.
It's almost like a step-by-step guide, emphasizing the importance of treating the deceased with the utmost respect and highlighting the spiritual significance of these rituals.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just about the physical actions, right? It's also about the intention and the reverence behind them. So,
Right.
like the washing and shrouding of the body.
Right.
Those aren't just like formalities. They symbolize purification and preparation for the soul's journey to the afterlife.
It's almost like we're preparing the deceased for a very important meeting,
Mm-hmm.
and the way the body is carried to the graveyard and the swiftness of the burial and the simplicity of the white shrouds.
Right.
It all points to this sense of urgency and this respect
Yeah.
for the sanctity of this moment.
Yeah, and there's a hadith in the book that I find particularly illuminating.
Okay.
The Prophet Muhammad said, "Hasten the funeral procession, for if the deceased was righteous, it is good that you bring him quickly to his reward.
Right.
And if he's
Okay.
otherwise, it is evil that you carry on your necks."
Wow, that's powerful.
Hmm.
It really emphasizes that transient nature of this world
Mm.
and the importance of focusing on the eternal destination.
Exactly. And it's interesting how the book discourages excessive displays of grief.
Right.
So there's this balance,
Yeah.
between mourning the loss of a loved one, but also acknowledging that death is an inevitable part of life.
There's this hadith where a woman is weeping loudly at a funeral, and the Prophet Muhammad gently advises her, fear God and be patient.
Mm-hmm.
It's a reminder that while grief is natural, we should channel it in a way that's both respectful to the deceased, but also beneficial to our own spiritual well-being.
Yeah, and the emphasis on simplicity in the funeral rites, I think, is
Mhm.
fascinating, too. It's a reminder that death is a leveler.
Absolutely.
It strips away all worldly distinctions.
The book also touches on, the experience of the soul after death.
Right.
And I found this hadith in particularly thought-provoking.
Okay.
It says that the deceased is shown their place in paradise or hell every morning and evening.
That's a powerful image, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it reminds us that our actions in this world have eternal consequences.
Right.
And it encourages us, to live in a way that aligns with our ultimate destination.
It makes you think about the choices we make every day
Mm-hmm.
and the impact they have not only on our lives here, but on our souls in the hereafter.
Absolutely. And there's another intriguing hadith that mentions that if a person dies in a place other than where they were born, a space in paradise is measured out for them, equal to the distance between their birthplace and their place of death.
Wow.
So it suggests that even the circumstances of our death can hold spiritual significance.
There's a real beauty in that. This sense that every aspect of our lives, even our deaths,
Yeah.
is woven into this larger tapestry of meaning.
Yeah.
It speaks to God's vast mercy and the intricate ways in which our journeys unfold.
Yeah, and the book doesn't shy away from addressing difficult questions either. So there's a hadith where someone asks the Prophet Muhammad, what is the first thing that the deceased will be questioned about?
Mhm.
And he replies about his prayer.
That's a stark reminder of the importance of prayer as a pillar of Islam.
Mm-hmm.
It's the foundation of our connection with God.
Right?
And it's something that we will be held accountable for.
Yeah, it's not just about going through the motions. It's
Right.
about cultivating that sincere and mindful connection
Right.
with the divine through our prayers.
Okay, so we've explored the profound respect and spiritual significance surrounding death and the treatment of the deceased.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's kind of shift our focus to the realm of fasting, a practice that's often associated with discipline, purification, and drawing closer to God.
Yeah, fasting is indeed a transformative practice.
Mhm.
And Sunan An-Nasa'i Volume 3 offers a wealth of wisdom on this topic.
It dives into different types of fasts.
Right.
We have the obligatory fast, like
Yeah.
Ramadan. We have voluntary fasts, like those on Mondays and Thursdays.
Mm-hmm.
And even the fasting practices of prophets like Prophet David, who fasted every other day.
It's fascinating how the book emphasizes that fasting is not merely about abstaining from food and drink,
Right.
but about cultivating a deeper awareness of our dependence on God and purifying our hearts from worldly attachments.
It's like a spiritual detox.
Mm.
You know, by depriving ourselves of physical sustenance, we create space for spiritual nourishment.
There's a beautiful hadith that captures this essence.
Okay.
The Prophet Muhammad said, fasting is a shield. It protects you from the fire of hell and from committing sins.
It's like creating a barrier between ourselves and negative influences.
Right.
It's about strengthening our spiritual resolve
Yeah.
and choosing higher pursuits over these fleeting desires.
The book also highlights the rewards of fasting.
Okay.
So the Prophet Muhammad said, every good deed of Adam's son is multiplied 10 to 700 times.
Wow.
God Almighty says, except for fasting.
Hmm.
It is for me, and I will reward for it.
So fasting has a special status, a direct connection with the divine.
It is considered a purely selfless act,
Right.
done solely for God's pleasure, and the reward for it is immeasurable.
And it's interesting how the book kind of delves into the etiquette of fasting,
Mm-hmm.
you know, offering practical guidance on how to make the most of this practice.
Yeah, it emphasizes the importance of moderation.
Okay.
So there's a hadith where the Prophet Muhammad advises a man who wanted to fast continuously. Do not fast every day, for your body has a right over you, your guest has a right over you, and your family has a right over you.
It's a reminder that while spiritual discipline is important, we should also take care of our physical well-being
Right.
and fulfill our responsibilities towards others.
And the book also stresses the importance of breaking the fast promptly.
Right.
The Prophet Muhammad said the people will continue to be upon goodness as long as they hasten the breaking of the fast.
I love how there's this sense of urgency and eagerness
Yeah.
to experience the blessings of breaking the fast.
Yeah. It's a time of joy and gratitude, a celebration of God's mercy and provision.
And there's a beautiful hadith that describes the breath of a fasting person as being more fragrant to God than the scent of musk. It speaks to the inner purification that comes with fasting. As we cleanse our bodies, our souls are also cleansed,
Right.
making our actions and even our breath more pleasing to God. This whole concept of intentionality is so central to Islam, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And that brings us to our next topic, zakat,
Okay.
which is all about purifying our wealth and sharing it with those in need.
Right.
It's a practical manifestation of our faith and a cornerstone of social justice in Islam. It really is. I mean, zakat is one of the 5 pillars of Islam.
Right.
And Sunan An-Nasa'i Volume 3, provides some incredible insights into this fundamental practice.
Yeah, it's like the book takes this concept of financial responsibility and elevates it to a spiritual level. It's not just about giving charity. It's about recognizing that our wealth is a gift from God, and we have a duty to share it with those less fortunate.
Exactly. The book emphasizes that zakat is not a favor we're doing for the poor. It's their right.
Right.
There's this beautiful hadith where the Prophet Muhammad says, the poor have a right in the wealth of the rich.
It's like saying, hey, this wealth doesn't solely belong to you. It's meant to circulate and benefit the entire community.
And the book provides specific guidelines on who is eligible to receive zakat.
Right.
It outlines 8 categories of recipients,
Okay.
including the needy, the poor, those in debt travelers, and those working to free captives.
It's like creating a safety net for those who are struggling.
And it's not just about giving money.
Right.
There's a story in the book about a woman who came to the Prophet Muhammad with her daughter who was wearing golden bangles. The Prophet asked her if she paid zakat on the jewelry, and when she said no, he asked, would it please you if God were to adorn you with bracelets of fire on the day of judgment?
That's a powerful image.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that zakat encompasses all forms of wealth, not just money.
And it highlights the importance of fulfilling this obligation sincerely and wholeheartedly.
Right.
There's a hadith that states whoever gives zakat seeking reward will be rewarded for it. Whoever refuses, we will take it from him by force.
So it's not just about meeting a legal requirement. It's about purifying our wealth and our hearts by sharing with those in need.
Exactly. And the book emphasizes that zakat should be given with the intention of seeking God's pleasure.
Okay?
There's a hadith where the Prophet Muhammad says charity does not decrease wealth, no one is harmed by pardoning others, and God increases the honor of the one who is humble.
It's a beautiful reminder that generosity, forgiveness, and humility are all interconnected virtues.
And the book provides detailed instructions on how to calculate zakat
Okay.
for different types of assets, like livestock and agricultural produce.
It's a comprehensive financial guide, ensuring that this pillar of Islam is implemented in a just and equitable manner.
It's fascinating how this ancient practice continues to be relevant in today's world,
Right.
addressing issues of poverty, inequality, and social responsibility.
Speaking of journeys, let's embark on a virtual pilgrimage to the holiest sites in Islam,
Okay.
Mecca and Medina, as we explore the transformative experiences of Hajj and Umrah.
It's a journey that millions of Muslims undertake each year,
Right.
a journey that's both physically demanding and spiritually enriching.
And Sunan An-Nasa'i Volume 3 is like our guidebook, detailing the rituals, the prohibitions, and the deeper meanings behind each step of the journey.
The book starts by explaining the state of Ihram,
Yep.
the state of ritual purity that pilgrims enter before embarking on Hajj or Umrah.
What's fascinating is how Ihram involves both physical and spiritual purification. It's about shedding worldly distinctions and assuming a state of humility and submission to God all.
Exactly. Pilgrims perform a ritual bath on simple white garments, symbolizing equality, and abstain from certain actions like cutting their hair or nails.
There's a sense of stripping away the superficial
Yeah.
and focusing on the essence of what it means to be a pilgrim, a servant of God.
The book also emphasizes the importance of making the intention for Hajj or Umrah
Right.
and reciting the talbiyah, the pilgrim's invocation, upon entering Ihram.
It's a powerful declaration of purpose,
Right.
a commitment to embarking on this sacred journey with a pure heart and a sincere desire to seek God's pleasure.
And then there's the tawaf, the circumambulation of the Kaaba,
Right.
which is one of the most iconic rituals of Hajj.
It's amazing to picture millions of Muslims from all walks of life, dressed in simple white garments, circling the Kaaba in unison.
The book describes how pilgrims circle the Kaaba 7 times counterclockwise, starting and ending at the Black Stone.
Wow.
It's a symbol of unity, a physical manifestation of the oneness of the Muslim community.
And each circuit is accompanied by prayers and remembrances, a constant dialogue with the divine.
The book also details the Sa'i, the ritual running between the hills of Safa and Marwa.
Right.
It's a reenactment of Hagar's desperate search for water for her son, Ismail.
It's a reminder that even in times of hardship, God provides for us in miraculous ways. And it's a testament to the power of faith and perseverance.
Another key ritual is standing at Arafat, a vast plain where pilgrims gather to seek God's mercy and forgiveness.
It's considered the pinnacle of Hajj, a day of profound spiritual reflection and renewal.
And then there's the symbolic stoning of the Jamarat,
Okay.
where pilgrims throw pebbles at 3 pillars that represent the devil.
It's a powerful rejection of temptation, a declaration of our commitment to resisting evil and choosing the path of righteousness.
The book also discusses the animal sacrifice,
Right.
a ritual that commemorates Prophet Abraham's willingness to sacrifice his son Ismail as an act of obedience to God.
It's a profound symbol of surrendering our most cherished possessions for God's sake.
And it's interesting how the book highlights the importance of maintaining proper etiquette throughout the pilgrimage.
Right. For example, pilgrims are prohibited from wearing perfume, engaging in arguments, or harming any living creatures.
It's about cultivating a state of peace, humility, and reverence for the sanctity of the journey.
There's a hadith where the Prophet Muhammad says, whoever performs Hajj for God's sake and does not have sexual relations with his wife, nor commits any sin, nor disputes unjustly, he will return from Hajj as sinless as the day his mother bore him.
It highlights the transformative potential of Hajj, the opportunity to cleanse ourselves of our past transgressions and return home with a renewed sense of purity and purpose. It's truly a journey of a lifetime. It's fascinating how Sunan An-Nasa'i Volume 3 not only guides us through the practical aspects of Hajj and Umrah, but also delves into the deeper spiritual and philosophical dimensions of these pilgrimages.
Absolutely. And this focus on intentionality, character development, and seeking refuge in God resonates throughout the book, even beyond the specific rituals and practices.
Right.
There's a real emphasis on cultivating virtuous traits and purifying our hearts.
Right.
It's like the book is saying, hey, it's not just about going through the motion. It's about becoming the best versions of ourselves.
It's about aligning our inner and outer worlds, letting our faith shine through in our character, and ultimately becoming beacons of light in the world.
There's a beautiful hadith that encapsulates this idea that Prophet Muhammad said, righteousness is good character, and sin is what wavers in your soul, and you hate for people to know about it. So it's about being true to ourselves, recognizing those inner struggles, and striving to live in a way that is both pleasing to God and beneficial to others.
And the book emphasizes that true righteousness stems from a pure heart. The Prophet Muhammad said, actions are judged by intentions, so each man will have what he intended.
It's a powerful reminder that our intentions matter, that every action, no matter how small, can be an act of worship if it's done with the right intention.
And speaking of intentions, the book stresses the importance of seeking knowledge with sincerity. The Prophet Muhammad said, whoever travels a path in search of knowledge, God will make easy for him a path to paradise.
It makes you think about our own deep dive into this book, uncovering these gems of wisdom. It's a journey that's both intellectually stimulating and spiritually enriching.
And it reminds us that the pursuit of knowledge is not just about accumulating information. It's about transforming ourselves, deepening our understanding of God, and becoming better human beings.
This focus on self-improvement really comes through in the book's emphasis on humility and simplicity. The Prophet Muhammad said, whoever has an atom's weight of arrogance in his heart will not enter paradise.
It's a powerful statement. Humility is a cornerstone of Islamic spirituality. It's about recognizing our place in the grand scheme of things, acknowledging our limitations, and surrendering to God's will.
And then there's this beautiful hadith. The most complete of believers in faith is the one who is best in character and kindness to his family.
It highlights the importance of embodying our faith in our relationships, particularly with those closest to us. Kindness, compassion, and empathy are the hallmarks of a true believer.
And how about this one? The strong believer is better and more beloved to God than the weak believer, although there is good in both of them. Be eager for what benefits you seek help from God and do not feel helpless.
It's a call to action, encouraging us to strive for spiritual excellence,
Right.
while acknowledging our limitations and seeking God's assistance.
It's like saying, don't settle for mediocrity, aim high. But remember that you're not in this alone.
Yeah.
God is always there to support you.
The book also addresses the importance of good speech.
Okay.
There are numerous hadiths that warn against backbiting, gossiping, and speaking ill of others.
The power of words is truly immense. The book reminds us that our speech should be a source of goodness and benefit, not harm or negativity.
Right.
There's this powerful reminder, whoever believes in God and the last day, let him speak good or remain silent.
It's a simple yet profound guideline for cultivating mindful and meaningful communication.
And it's a reminder that our words have consequences both in this world and the next.
It's fascinating how Sunan An-Nasa'i Volume 3 not only provides guidance on specific practices, but also delves into the underlying principles that govern our thoughts, words, and actions.
Right.
There's a real emphasis on cultivating good character, seeking knowledge, connecting with God, and facing life's challenges with patience and perseverance.
It's a holistic approach to living a meaningful and fulfilling life. And it reminds us that Islam is not just a set of rules, it's a transformative journey that shapes our hearts, minds, and souls. And one of the key aspects of this journey is seeking refuge with God.
Right.
We see it throughout the book in the context of death, in relation to the trials of the grave, and even in the face of everyday hardships.
It's a beautiful reminder that despite our best efforts, we're not in control of everything. There are forces beyond our understanding, challenges we can't anticipate, and moments where we need to surrender to something greater than ourselves.
And that's where seeking refuge in God comes in. It's like acknowledging our vulnerability and seeking protection and guidance from the one who has ultimate power.
There's a hadith in the book where the Prophet Muhammad teaches us to seek refuge from the torment of the grave, the torment of hell, the trial of life and death, and the evil of the trial of the false Messiah.
Wow.
It's a powerful reminder that we need God's help not just in this life, but in the hereafter as well.
It's like we're constantly navigating this spiritual minefield, and we need God's guidance to avoid the pitfalls and reach our ultimate destination.
Right, and the book emphasizes that the grave is not just a physical space where our bodies are laid to rest. It's a realm of trial and testing, a transition point between this world and the next. And we need God's protection as we navigate that unknown territory.
That's a sobering thought.
Yeah.
It makes you think about the importance of preparing for death, not just in a practical sense,
Hmm.
but in the spiritual sense as well.
And it's not just about seeking refuge from external threats. There's also this hadith where the Prophet Muhammad says, seek refuge with God from anxiety and sorrow, from weakness and laziness, from miserliness and cowardice, from being overwhelmed by debt, and from being overpowered by men.
It's like recognizing that our inner world is just as important as our outer world.
Right.
We need to protect ourselves from negative thoughts, destructive emotions, spiritual stagnation.
It's about acknowledging our weaknesses and seeking God's help in overcoming them. It's about cultivating inner strength and resilience so that we can face life's challenges with courage and grace.
And that brings us to another recurring theme in the book, patience and perseverance.
Mm-hmm.
There are countless hadiths that emphasize the importance of facing adversity with steadfastness, trusting in God's wisdom, and believing that even hardship can serve a higher purpose.
There's this beautiful hadith where the Prophet Muhammad compares patience to a sweet fruit. He says, how wonderful is the case of a believer. There is good for him in everything, and this is not the case with anyone except the believer. If he is happy, then he thanks God, and thus there is good for him. And if he is harmed, then he shows patience, and thus there is good for him.
It's like saying, hey, life is going to throw you curveballs.
Hmm.
But it's not about avoiding them. It's about learning how to hit them out of the park.
Exactly.
And that requires patience, resilience, and an unwavering belief that even our struggles can lead to growth and transformation.
It's about reframing our perspective on hardship.
Right.
Instead of viewing challenges as purely negative experiences, we're encouraged to see them as opportunities to strengthen our faith, deepen our connection with God, and earn divine reward.
There's a hadith that really captures this spirit of resilience. The Prophet Muhammad says the strong believer is better and more beloved to God than the weak believer, although there is good in both of them. Be eager for what benefits you, seek help from God, and do not feel helpless. If something befalls you, do not say, if only I had done such and such. Rather say, God has decreed, and what he willed he has done. For indeed, if only opens the door for the devil's work.
It's a powerful reminder that dwelling on the past or giving in to despair is not productive.
Right.
Instead, we should focus on moving forward with faith and trust, knowing that God has a plan for us even when we can't see it.
It's about taking responsibility for our actions while also acknowledging that ultimately everything is in God's hands.
And that brings us to the heart of what this volume of Sunan An-Nasa'i is trying to teach us. It's about recognizing that Islam is a holistic way of life. It's not just about rituals and beliefs.
Right.
It's about cultivating a righteous character, seeking knowledge, connecting with God, and navigating the challenges of life and death with wisdom, compassion, and unwavering faith.
It's about striving to become the best versions of ourselves, both inwardly and outwardly. It's about embodying the values of our faith in our interactions with others, in our pursuit of knowledge, and in our response to life's inevitable trials and tribulations.
And Sunan An-Nasa'i Volume 3 offers us a timeless roadmap for this journey of transformation. It provides practical guidance, spiritual insights, and profound wisdom that can illuminate our path and inspire us to live lives of purpose and meaning.
Well, I don't know about you, but I feel like I've learned so much from our deep dive into this incredible text. It's been eye-opening, thought-provoking, and truly inspiring.
It's been a privilege to explore these profound teachings with you, and I hope our listeners have found this journey as enriching as we have.
I encourage everyone to delve deeper into Sunan An-Nasa'i Volume 3 and discover their own gems of wisdom and guidance. And until next time, may peace be upon you.